All right, welcome back to the Pitch Clock. I'm your host, Connor Nelson. This is Baseball Debate at Game Speed. Every question comes with a 15-second clock, so no rambling, just your take. When the buzzer hits, we go 2 rounds each to debate, react, or dig in. Multiple topics, no wasted time. And with that, I'm thrilled to welcome back one of the smoothest pipes in minor league baseball, the unmistakable voice of the Knoxville Smokies. We're talking about Richie Giuliano. Rich, how you doing on this fine afternoon?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. You ready for some more hot takes here or what?
I'm ready, Rich. You know, you've really been bringing it, and that's why we needed to bring you back on. I'm glad you have the wrestling shirt on, too. I have the,
Yeah.
the beer baseball shirt on right now, so I like that we're matching
Nice.
each other's energy right here. So we got 3 topics. You ready for this clock to start?
Let's do it.
All right. So, Richie, little background for the fans. This guy grew up in Ohio, which means he became very fond of the Indians, now Guardians. So, Rich, I ask you, how will the AL Central shake up in 2026?
I'd love to say Cleveland, but I think the Tigers are the winners in 2026, despite Skubal and if they get him back or not. They did a good job pre-arbitration getting Torkelson, Green, Will Vest, who is huge out of their bullpen back. So they bring some key pieces. And I think Cleveland, who is their contender, is going to be too young. Just not enough bats to compete with the Tigers this year.
That's pretty crazy you say that. So you like the Tigers' rotation even without Skubal. Is that what you're saying?
I do. I think, Mize is good. Troy Melton was a young star that came up late for Detroit, and he proved himself. And you still have Flaherty, who's had some years in the big league. So with those 3 in their rotation, and let's be honest, the Central isn't loaded. We've seen the White Sox with all their prospects down in Double A. They're still going to need some time to get up to the bigs. And once they do, I think the White Sox actually have a really bright future. But until then, Cleveland's still too young without any bats. You got the Royals, who just aren't going to be very good. And then the Tigers, who I think will end up winning it.
Well, I think the pitch clock banged you on that last segment there, but we'll let it fly just because you were given a pretty thorough explanation, and that was a pretty hot take. I can't say I feel the same about the Tigers' rotation without Skubal because it's looking like, according to Fangraphs, you got Flaherty, Mize, Reese Olson, and then 4, 5, and whether you want a 6 rotation spot is a lot of young, unproven guys. So that's going to be a little scary for me, even though their lineup is pretty solid. But the Guardians and even the Royals both have pretty solid lineups going into this new season. I think the Royals relying on some younger guys for sure, but I think their rotation is just as stacked as anybody, if not the best in this division. So I think the Royals are my dark horse team. I think it might finally be their year to really be a trade deadline team that might be buying to take this division.
It's been a long time since the Royals have been good. I do remember the back-to-back World Series when they ended up winning one, and then I think they lost to the Giants in the other one.
You
But
can't win
you know,
two in
the,
the Giants era,
That's
back to
right. The
back.
Giants were dominant. But yeah, I mean, the Royals, they're a franchise that's kind of begging for a good baseball team right now. I just think with their young bats, I just don't think they're going to be great. But, this division's kind of up in the air right now. You really don't know between the 3 teams who's going to win it.
All right, so then a quick follow up yes or no question. Do the Guardians make the postseason?
No.
All right. Question number 2, Rich. Who's one player in the MLB you'd give a lifetime extension to right now?
I'm going to go with the American League Rookie of the Year and Nick Kurtz. He was drafted in the first round. They got him up rapidly. He's proved that he could handle big league baseball. Hit 36 home runs in his first big league season. And with this new stadium coming around in Vegas in 2 years, that's when his contract ends. So, no bigger time than to make a big splash with Kurtz as kind of your franchise player.
I like it. And to be honest, you sold me on the Vegas aspect. I mean, if you're a general manager, how are you not trying to look at a contract extension long term for Nick Kurtz right now? The numbers are just too good. Is there a first baseman in the AL besides Vlad that you can really put up there with him right now?
Not really. I mean, 26 doubles, 36 bombs, hit 290. I mean, that's a great average. Your first big league season just out of college, from Wake Forest where he was dominant. So I think that Nick Kurtz right now is a no-brainer for the A's. They got to do something with him. You can't let him walk before they open up a new stadium.
I think that's right. That's going to be a lot of tickets sold if you still have Nick Kurtz and you're able to make a bunch of big posters of him and plaster it all over the sides of that new stadium. I think you know something a little bit about new stadiums, Rich. So, yeah,
That's
I,
it.
I, I like the take. I think Nick Kurtz is definitely a guy that's going to have to get a big time extension. I didn't have any names in mind, but that is definitely one that I think is pretty obvious right now. If the A's can get it done, they can get it done. Didn't they just get one of their younger guys? It was Soderstrom. They just got Soderstrom signed to a longer
Third
term
time.
deal. He's a guy who'll play a little first base, left field for him. You know, so I like that. They're trying to lock up that young core and get a team to Vegas that
Right.
people are excited about. So yeah, all right, Rich. Final question. Give me your World Series matchup. Way too early for 2026.
Dodgers are, I think, a pencil in on the NL, and I think on the American League side with the rotation, Vladdy, Kirk, Jimenez, those guys in the lineup that have some leadership and veteran status. I think the Blue Jays will contend with the Dodgers this year in the World Series.
I think a repeat would be pretty fun for baseball. I think a nice little new rivalry being formed would be pretty fun. I know everything's all beat LA right now, and with
Yeah.
that, Rich, do you think baseball is unfair right now? I know a lot of people are saying that with how the Dodgers are acting in free agency.
Yeah, I think baseball either needs to develop a cap or a minimum. I think that's what would make it a lot more equal. You know, you got teams like Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and the lower level teams that aren't paying nearly enough. I mean, the Dodgers are paying two of their guys more than the entire team in Pittsburgh. So I think there either needs to be a cap or a minimum. I do agree with that right now, kind of that debate in baseball. One of those two things has to happen, or you're going to continue to have the same teams playing for the World Series every year.
I think I think you might be right. I've been long term against the fact that there needs to be a cap or a floor just because I think players aren't going to agree to it. I think we see the struggle in
Yeah.
other sports between the players and the overall the owners and the people making the contracts because of how much stars are getting paid versus the second and third tier players. In the NBA, you see it's getting real lopsided. Those top tier
Right.
guys are starting to get pretty much all of the money. And I don't think players want that to happen in baseball. I think everybody wants an opportunity to get a sizable contract. And I think it's a sport that maybe allows for it just because of the roster sizes and how many people you need per year. So who knows? I don't like fans thinking baseball is unfair, especially when I grew up a fan of the team that is making people think baseball is unfair. So it's tough, Rich, but I do think something is probably going to
Yeah.
have to change pretty soon.
I think that, Seattle or the Yankees also have a chance to make the World Series. The Dodgers for me are just way too loaded in the National League to lose. And then in the American League, I can see the Blue Jays losing. I really can. Seattle's got another good team, and then the Yankees with Aaron Boone, a lot of pressure on him, and a stacked roster again. They got to make the World Series, so I could see those three being in the mix for the American League, and then the Dodgers is kind of a shoe in at this point for the World Series in the NL.
Yeah, the NL is definitely a race to beat the Dodgers. The AL, you're just hoping somebody takes them out before they get to the World Series. So it'll be fun to
Right.
watch. We're excited for the 2026 season. Pitch Clock fans, you can see more hot takes or short clips of these longer episodes. You can find them on TikTok, YouTube, or Instagram. Just look up the Pitch Clock. You'll find us. So for Richie, for myself, signing out for the Pitch Clock. We'll catch you next episode.